Red after that 32-20 win last year for Centennial. Tillman kept it himself. Tillman has some room, and there he goes! You will not catch Ben Tillman. Touchdown, Bulldogs.
Hi everybody, and welcome to ISPN.TV, where each and every week we bring you our latest Xfinity Sports and CET Top 10 polls. Along with Marty Cesario, I'm Roth. Happy to have you with us. And before we get to those top 10s, Marty, let's take a look back and reflect on one of our favorite nights of the entire year. It's the Bell game down in Pueblo, and for the 5th consecutive year, we had that game, brought it to everybody up and down the Front Range, and you just don't see anything like that anywhere other than down in Pueblo. 14,000 fans, Centennial Central, 111th meeting between the two teams.
15,000, I mean, that's just amazing. So many elements that just make it such a perfect experience. And you know what I always say is that, you know, if you're into high school football in the state of Colorado, do that once, seriously.
At least once.
At least once. You'll enjoy it. You know, you talk about the 15,000 fans, you got the bell ringing the whole time. Each side of the field is completely splattered with the respective team's colors, all red one side, all blue the other. You got the rail yards, the Arkansas River. It's just an amazing experience. Well worth it.
Yeah, by the way, Centennial beat Central to keep that bell red, and just a reminder, coming up in 2 weeks, we're going to be right back down there for a game maybe not as big, but it's pretty close. It's a close second when you talk about games that are attended by fans. It's that Cannon game. It's Pueblo South and Pueblo East. Look for that coming up here in a couple of weeks. All right, let's go into the top 10s, and we start, as always, with Class 5A. And there's not much change, if any, at the top there. Is everybody pretty stable there. Bear Creek drops out. We had to find a way to replace them. Chaparral dropped out after losing to Regis, so we felt, listen, Regis, they have played their way back into the top 10.
Yeah, and we knew Regis was coming back. They had a great shot at it. They got a nice win over Chaparral, Jordan Jungers, with 144 yards rushing. I like the play call by Coach Nolan. You know, they got a penalty in overtime there that brought him 5 yards closer, so he said, we're going for it, gave it to Jungers. He scored on 4th down. Regis now at 3-2, certainly, as a, you know, a reigning state finalist, has a shot to jump in our top 10 poll. They're certainly deserving so. They got Douglas County coming up next. Their only losses to Valor and Pomona. They're pretty strong.
And Marty, one more thing you have to look at, Easton Salem, their starting quarterback, hasn't played all year, returned in that game. He's certainly going to be a big help. Also new into the top 10s, there's Thunder Ridge. Marty, we had a chance to see them here this week. Pretty good football team.
Yeah, they are. They're real strong. You know, maybe down cycle the last couple of years in terms of personnel, but Coach Joe Johnson has the thick boys, you know, back, and they certainly have a running game with all kinds of options in that running game. And then they show us the versatility, too, with the passing of Brody Westmoreland. I mean, he's real strong. They got that multi-skilled weapon in Zach Jones, and something that we were impressed by, and I always say that this is good for November playoff football. Logan Beck can kick it. Yeah, I mean, that's a weapon to have at the high school level, a nice kicking game.
Yeah, he had a 50-yarder in that contest, so they get the win over Mountain Vista, and we put them in. Now, they're 4-1 in the season, and give you one last glimpse here of those 5A polls. Their only loss this year, speaking of Thunder Ridge, came to Ralston Valley. Matt Lloyd's team now to 5-0. They're sitting right there at number 6. How about this? They have shut out 4 of their 5 opponents. The only team they didn't shut out was Thunder Ridge, who they ended up beating by the final score of 21-20. By the way, coming up later on this week, we're going to have Columbine on the airwaves for you as they get set to take on Heritage. So it'll be the first time we get a chance to look at Andy Lowry and those 5th-ranked Rebels. All right, on to Class 4A. A little bit more movement there than in 5A, but the top teams, they for the most part stay the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 5 of those teams winning and staying put. Meanwhile, the team we had at number 6, Greeley West, they lose to Broomfield, so West is out, and it shuffles some things down there 6 through 10.
Yeah, if you look at the Cheyenne Mountain Indians, congratulations to them. They're 5-0. Record right now is the best start in 17 years for that program, so congrats to Coach Brian Sherman and the gang. Brett Helton had 4 TD passes, and he's got a weapon out there on the outside, and Donovan Harville, who collected like 200 yards, nearly 200 yards receiving and 3 touchdown passes. Wheat Ridge is back, and that's not surprising. You knew they would be. They've lost to, top 5, top 6 teams already, but, they pasted Green Mountain, who was undefeated. How about Nick Swanson, 234 yards rushing for Coach Call, collectively 430 yards on the ground. Wheat Ridge is doing what they want to do, and certainly they're going to be someone to be reckoned with during the playoff season.
Yeah, and then at number 10, and just like in 5A, we have a newcomer, and that is Rock Canyon. The Jaguars deserve a little bit of love. They have looked pretty good so far this year, sitting at 4-1.
Yeah, you look at Coach Tom Lynch. Usually when you talk about Rock Canyon, they're all, lights out with the passing game. This year, which makes them intriguing and possibly someone you're really going to have to watch out for in the playoffs, they've got a serious running game. Eric Williams is their lead back. He had 190 yards rushing in the big win over Pueblo West. We know they're a strong program. The previous week he had 309, which is just amazing. So with Eric Williams, and they got a nice quarterback in Chris Sauer, Brady McNeely, Austin Healy, Hunter Tyson playing some serious defense. The Jaguars are certainly going to be someone that you got to pay attention to and definitely study your game tape. Fortunately for them, they're in league play right now, and they got a pretty big one on their schedule coming up this week.
Yeah, they have Valor Christian coming up. Is Rock Canyon going to be in our top 10 next week? I don't know. Listen, they play Valor Christian tough coming up this weekend, Marty, and again, it's not a foregone conclusion. That's why you play the game. So. They could beat Valor, right? Was what we're saying, although nobody has even come close to doing it here this year, maybe outside of Regis.
Right.
But if they play them tight, we could be leaving them in our top 10. Certainly if they beat Valor, they're going to be in our top 5 for sure. So congratulations to Tom Lynch and those Rock Canyon Jaguars. All right, that's another look at our latest edition of 4A and 5A Top 10s. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back coming up next week right here on ISPN.TV.